Good mental health is more than the absence of a mental health problem. It is believed that 2/3 of us will experience a mental health concern during the course of our lives. Because mental health, as it is anything that affects the way we think, the way we act, and the way we feel. So we will have depression, sometimes we'll have problems at work, we'll have problems in relationships, you name it. Whatever affects the way we think, the way we act, and the way we feel, it is a concern. In some communities, mental health is still a taboo subject. Because when we think of mental health and someone with a mental health problem, we think about someone who is naked, someone who is dirty, someone who is eating out of the garbage bin. The truth is, men are twice as likely to experience a mental health problem. One explanation could be that ladies tend to speak a lot, and in speaking, they tend to speak about their problems as well, and they also get solutions. While on the other hand, men are expected to be tough. They are told to man up. They are told to stop being a sissy, so they tend to keep silent. And in some cases, the result is devastating because they sometimes develop suicidal tendencies. And unfortunately, some of them actually go on to commit suicide and to self-harm. When that happens, families are broken and society is left in turmoil. With me today is Marcia Atkinson. She is a counselor, she is a supervisor, and she is the author of 2 collections of poetry. And she'll be giving us some tips on what to do if you're experiencing a mental health problem. Welcome, Marcia.
Thank you very much, Patrice. It's so delightful to be here today talking about mental health. Mental health in the Black communities has for a long time been a taboo, and I think as mental health practitioners we're helping to break down the stigma attached to mental health in the communities. In order to get help for any problem, you've got to name it, you've got to acknowledge it. And one of the first places to go to is your GP. Sometimes talking about problems to friends and family can be quite difficult. Lots of us are quite private, and sometimes we don't want our nearest and dearest to know what is going on. Sometimes they're helpful and sometimes they're not. So having someone who's objective and clinically trained, like the GP, is naturally the first person to go to. What the GP can do is to obviously ask you signs and symptoms of what you're experiencing, and if appropriate, refer you to counselling, and there's lots of counselling available on the NHS, and or medication. Some people get on with medication, and I'm not someone who has an opinion either way. If it helps you, it helps you, but I think a combination of medication and therapy is good. Simple things like exercise, simple things like meditation, mindfulness, being out with nature is also a good thing. Not being in isolation. Lots of people who suffer mental health issues, are on their own. They're quite lonely and they lack support. So, not being isolated is very important. If your faith is something that is important to you, reconnect with your faith. There's lots of support groups out there in mental health charities to support you. Organisations like Mind, very good organisations who establish mental health charities that are very good in supporting people with mental health issues. And when I'm talking about things like depression, things like anxiety, things like, as Patrice mentioned, things like thoughts of suicides, we have telephone organisations like the Samaritans, well-known organisations that have been around for a long time, that have the expertise to help you.
So what you're saying, Marcia, is that we need to talk about it,
Absolutely.
Not suffer in silence.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Thank you a lot. So now you have some tips on what to do. Please do not suffer in silence. Mental health, it's not a taboo. We all go through it. Go get the help if you need that help. Thank you.
Thank you.